Hello, Parambrata. Welcome to Kolkata Literature Festival. It's so nice to have you here.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you very much for having me here.
So, art, and we Bengalis have been growing up with art with all our lives. But in your case, you're the grandson of Ritwik Ghatak, and you're also the nephew of Mahasweta Devi. You grew up in the bosom of art. How has that experience been different, or has that journey been unique in its own way?
In a way, it has because, as you yourself mentioned, that I've kind of grown up in the bosom of art, per se. It has its up and downsides. Because I mean, the ups are quite obvious. You get exposed to the world of literature, music, cinema, and everything that is sort of rebellious in the world, everything that is revolutionary in the world, everything that is idealistic, and at the same time uh, all kind of every kind of churning, every kind of ferment that is going on in the world, you get exposed to that. At the same time, you also kind of grow up with a certain chip on your shoulder which might stop you from enjoying the other pleasures of the world, and if you know what I mean. But I fortunately, I would like to believe that I had a fair share of the best of both the worlds, in the sense that while I was sort of being nurtured by the bosom that you just mentioned, I was also getting my healthy dose of populist culture. And because that is how my parents brought me up, that is the ambience, that is the atmosphere in which I grew up. So I was never stopped from humming my favorite Hindi or Bengali film song, or playing football, and or cricket with the local boys, or just really knowing life from up close. I was never really stopped from doing that. When you actually are growing up so close to people who have actually themselves been quite rebellious in terms of their artistic output, their progenies tend to become a little tucked away from realities. That we've seen that happen. Fortunately, I wasn't nurtured that way. I wasn't brought up that way. I believe. At least I would like to believe so. Yes.
Recently, last month, a few months ago in December, you went to the East Conclave and you brought up this very interesting subject, that how you challenged the idea that Hindi cinema is considered national cinema and how regional cinema needs more limelight. How would you like to see Bengali cinema, or for that matter, Tamil cinema, Gujarati cinema, all these develop, and how would you want them to be processed into the more limelight, and how you would say that Hindi cinema being the so-called national cinema would also imply that Hindi is becoming the national language, that would connote something far more negligent towards the diversity that India has always been proud of.
See, my reaction to that entire idea came not from wanting to see Tamil or Bengali or Maharashtrian or Malayalam cinema in a particular light, or I didn't want to see them getting an extra podium. Or, to be honest, I don't have any like quick fix solution to how to make Bengali cinema more pan Indian. No, I don't. My only point that I wanted to the only point that I wanted to raise was that, so when you're saying that Hindi cinema versus regional cinema, what is the binary that one is creating? So what is the other end of who sits at the other end from regional cinema? So if I consider Bengali cinema, if I consider Tamil cinema, if I consider Odia cinema, Bhojpuri cinema, Maharashtrian cinema, Kannada films to be regional, then what is national? I mean, the other end of it has to be national, right? So what are you trying to imply by this creating this binary that Hindi cinema is national cinema? Now I do have a problem with that. I mean, I love the language Hindi. I love Hindi cinema. As I've mentioned, that I've grown up on a healthy dose of Bollywood as well. But and I myself do Bollywood films sometimes, and I work in that industry. I'm fortunate enough to do so, but that cannot be the only narrative in the world. That's my point. That cannot be the only dominant cultural force in the country, in a country like ours, especially. That is all that I wanted to say. And yes, Hindi is more and more people are trying to sort of infuse the idea that Hindi is our national language, or that Hindi is the chosen medium of speaking. Should be, at least that is what people are trying to, a certain section of people are trying to promote or propagate. I am not I do not subscribe to that idea. I am I'm opposed to that idea quite vehemently, and because I love every single language that is practiced on this soil called India, or the Indian subcontinent, and I think every single language and culture and custom deserves equal respect and justice. So while I love Hindi, while I consider myself very lucky to be working in the Hindi film industry, sometimes I also do think that every single other language film. I do not wish to call them regional cinema. I wish to call them language cinema. Every other language cinema respect deserves the same amount of respect and dignity and importance.
You've worked in Bollywood, in Tollywood, and in Hollywood. You have also done Sold. Yeah. You were a part of it. You have worked in three different industries. What were the differences you noticed, or what the experiences you gained in each of these three sectors?
So I don't qualify, not at all. By no means do I qualify of having worked in the Hollywood industry. No, I really haven't. It was just a one-off film which was being shot in India, Kolkata for that matter, and I happen to be a part of it. It hasn't even been released yet officially. So no, I really don't know much about Hollywood. I really don't. Whatever my knowledge of Hollywood really is limited to what exactly people like all of us probably we have gathered from watching different films and looking at La La Land. Really, that's really what it is. Yes, but I have worked extensively in the Bengali film industry as well as in the Hindi film industry, and yeah, the difference lies in market size, and that determines everything. I believe there is no difference in expertise or the kind of ideation that is happening or the kind of talent or the kind of also application of talent. The difference lies in the fact that a Hindi film made at 25 rupees gets a market which can earn back 50 rupees or even more, whereas a Bengali film, even when it's made at 5 rupees, it struggles to earn back just the 5 rupees because the market size is very small, and hence the application of ideas, of talent, of new thoughts, they tend to be limited because uh, people wish to play according to pattern or wish to play safe a little, and also they going by that, I have to say that I think if I really go by these numbers, then I have to say that Bengali cinema goes and experiments quite a lot more than what it ought to. Because it could have stayed even more safe and made really small, teeny, tiny little films which would definitely earn their money back. But Bengali cinema goes ahead, does different kinds of films. Of course, the production value-wise, the money being squandered-wise, it will always fall behind because it is always about the market size. It really caters to a very small market, whereas anything that is Hindi, it caters to not just the whole of India but also to a very very wide market abroad as well.
After all these big questions, well, since we are at the heart of Boi Mela, let's just end with one simple question. What's your earliest and most favorite memory from Boi Mela?
Oh, there was a time when I was about 6 or 7 years of age, I think, and that was the time when I used to think that, when I used to say, even proclaim that Boimela for me is an even bigger festival than Durga Puja. I used to be so happy with the advent of Boimela every year that the smell of books and everything together would make me so damn happy that I would think that, and the whole idea of walking through these stalls and with this sea of humanity, this madness and different kinds of food and everything, and my parents would be a part of the music that would be performed on the on the ground and everything, and I used to have a whale of a time, and I definitely used to consider Boimela to be a cause for greater joy, even greater than Durga Puja. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's my earliest memory of Boimela.
Thank you so much for having us, Parambrata. It was lovely having a conversation with you. I hope you have a wonderful time at Kolkata Literature Festival. Thank you.